Let's do an example of how to write the chemical formula of a binary ionic compound if you know the name of that chemical formula. So in this example, we know that the chemical name is rubidium sulfide, and we want to come up with the correct formula. In order to do this, we have to draw the Lewis structures and transfer valence electrons. So we'll start with rubidium. If you look on your periodic table, rubidium is element number 37. It's in the first column on the left side. So that means that rubidium has one valence electron. Sulfide is the element sulfur when it forms an ion. So if you look on your periodic table, you see that sulfur is element 16. If we start over on the left and count the columns over to sulfur, remember you want to skip that chunk in the middle, the transition metals, you see that sulfur is in the 6th column, which means that sulfur has 6 valence electrons. Now, because rubidium has fewer valence electrons than sulfur, rubidium is going to be losing its valence electrons and sulfur is going to be gaining valence electrons. So let's look at sulfur. It currently has 6 valence electrons. That means that sulfur has 2 empty spots it still needs to fill in order to complete its octet. Remember, the magic number is 8. So rubidium is going to lose its valence electron. It's going to give it away to sulfur. So now our rubidium atom has no leftover electrons. However, our sulfur atom over here still has this one empty spot that it needs to fill. So what are we going to fill it with? Well, we need another rubidium atom. If we have another rubidium atom with one valence electron, rubidium can now give that valence electron to sulfur. Both of our rubidium atoms have given away their valence electrons, and sulfur has a complete octet of 8 valence electrons. So we're done with the Lewis structure part. Now for the cation and the anion, we have to go back to the definition. Remember that the definition of a cation is a positively charged ion. This occurs through the loss of electrons. So in this case, rubidium is our element that lost electrons. Now, how many electrons did rubidium lose? Well, each rubidium lost 1 electron, which means it has a charge of +1. The anion, the definition of anion is the negatively charged ion, and this occurs through the gain of electrons. So the element in this case that gained electrons was sulfur. Sulfur gained 2 electrons, which means it has a charge of -2. Remember, electrons are negatively charged. And when we write the chemical formula, we want to go back to our Lewis structures over here, and we're going to count how many of each element we need. So if we start with rubidium, we have 2 rubidium, so Rb, and to show that we have 2 of them, we do a subscript 2, and then we have 1 sulfur. So the chemical formula for rubidium sulfide is Rb2S.